Things you guys talked about was needing to bond and gel and all that stuff. So over the 10-day trip, do you feel like that was accomplished?
I think it's still a work in progress.
Mm-hmm.
I thought we did some much better things defensively. We played much better team defense. We zoned much more than I ever have in my coaching career.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought that was the best way to get them playing team defense.
How about away from the court? Did you feel like the little Disneyland trip and just being together in airports and hotels, what does that do for the team?
Yeah, I thought that was good. I think they enjoyed each other's company.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they've had a very good working relationship off the court all along. Mm-hmm. I think it's the working relationship on the court as to how to bring out the best in each other that's been the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Some might look at Devon Reed and just say, well, he's a freshman, he's going to be up and down. I'm curious, what do you see in his performances so far?
Well, we've asked him to do a lot of different things that we never anticipated him having to do as a freshman. He's played 3 different positions, guarded 3 or 4 different kinds of players. He's now starting as our point guard, when he's really more of a wing player. But he's handled every responsibility with, I'd say, a lot of poise for a freshman. And, we expect he'll just continue to grow in the role he finds himself in right now.
Shooting, do you see issues with his selection, or how do you kind of explain the up and down stuff there?
Well, that's our team. It's not him. Offense is like dancing. It's a rhythm. And if you've ever seen 2 people who dance really well together, Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers, they're probably a little bit before your time.
I can Google it.
But if you watch Dancing with the Stars, you ever watched that show?
That's not. I'm more of a Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers fan myself.
Oh, right. My point is, 2 people who really know how to dance, they're in sync all the time. If you ever seen a marching band, one band, one sound. Did you ever see that movie? What's it called? Drumline. Mm-hmm. Did you see the movie Drumline? Oh my goodness, you got to rent that.
I play the drums. Does that count?
Well, if you play the drums and you're in a band, and there's, let's say, 4 drummers, right? And then you've got 3 or 4 trumpet players, and you have 3 or 4 violinists, and the only thing you hear is all of them. It's not about one. They're all playing together, and it works really well together. But if one person is out of sync, the music stinks. And what we're finding is we're trying to get everybody to play in sync, to dance together. You're not out there doing a solo. How you perform affects how everybody else performs. And that's important. If you see a synchronized swimming team, and they're underwater and the legs are coming out, and you have no idea how to do it, but it's the coolest thing. That's how you play offense, right? Everybody doing their job, and someone screens and someone comes off the screen and someone passes to the guy coming off the screen. And we had a terrific play the other day where Ryan Brown threw it to Davon, who threw it to Tanya, who threw it to Garius, who threw it back to Ryan, who threw it to Tanya for a dunk. The ball hit the ground 1 or 2 times, but it was all like bang, 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 boom! And you say, oh, that was nice. Trying to get that to repeat itself over and over again is what offense is, and we haven't been able to do that yet.
Have you talked to him about these analogies about dancing
I'm
and
gonna
marching
be,
bands and all that?
I'm gonna be talking to him today about it. We've talked to him a little bit about it being a rhythm, but we'll talk to him more about it.
When was that play you just described?
It was at the end of the first half against Nebraska, and we ran what we call our chin set. And that's with Garius Adams in the middle of the floor, or somebody else in the middle of the floor. And it's the only basket that Tanya Chikiri scored on. But it was the kind of basket that he can get regularly, which is a lop. He's good at being up around the basket, near the basket like that.
Do you feel like Manu is he's too young, has more to learn than you thought he would, or?
Well, not more than I thought, because we weren't planning on him being, a major contributor as a freshman or a starter as a freshman. We were planning on him being a backup to Shane Larkin.
Right.
That's a very different role than coming in and being asked to start right away. But quite honestly, I think he's made a lot of progress on this road trip. And I really like the way he played against Nebraska. And I think there are signs that he's going to contribute more and more.
What areas have you seen with his progress?
He's been a little bit more assertive offensively and a little bit more vocal defensively. And those are good signs of leadership, that he feels comfortable now in directing traffic and talking to his teammates.
What do you expect from Virginia Tech? It's an ACC. I know you look at all the games the same, but it is an ACC game, and they have a guy who just scored 34, I think, in their last game, who got really hot. They shot really well.
Yeah, they're a very, very good three-point shooting team. Adam Smith, we recruited at George Mason, and he was one of the best high school scorers we saw all that season. And Gerald Eddy has been on fire from three.
He's the one, right.
And when you have a two-guard and a three-man both shooting the ball extremely well from three, it opens things up for your big guys. So Barksdale and Raines and Van Zegeren are all playing at a high level. They block a lot of shots. They're 11th in the country in shot blocking. So you have to be very, very good at attacking the basket, but be under control so that if they come to block your shot, you can find an open man. Rather than getting your shot blocked, you get an assist. But you have to be good at recognizing it.
Is there significance in it being an ACC game?
Yeah, it's the start of conference play. We basically play in what is called two different leagues. The first league is the non-conference league,
right.
And the second league is the in-conference league. And the in-conference league is the ACC, the best in the country, and the non-conference is always a very challenging schedule, which we just finished playing 4 very challenging games for us.
Is it nice to be back home after that long road stretch?
It's nice to be home in a warm weather climate after being in
Nebraska,
Omaha, and Lincoln for 5 days, 4 days.
How did the emergence of getting back to the zone defense, when I don't know how much you played out in California, or just how has that emerged, or as far as and everything?
The expression a lot of coaches use is you must see ball and you must see man at all times. So if you're playing man-to-man defense, even if you're guarding your man, you still have to see the ball. And this group found that very challenging. They would stay with their man and lose sight of the ball regularly. And what ends up happening then, you can't help the guy who's guarding the ball, and if he gets beat, that guy gets a layup rather than the help coming over and stopping him. Our defense is predicated on first help, second help, and third help. And that's pre-planned, okay? This is the guy who's going to help you first. Then if you need second, that you got to help the helper. So, for example, we're starting right now Davon Reed, Garius Adams, Ryan Brown, James Kelly, and Donovan Kirk. All right, with that group, if Davon gets help from James, then someone has to help James. So let's say that's Donovan. Well, then someone has to help Donovan, and that's got to be Garius or Ryan. When we were playing our man-to-man, we weren't even getting first help. So we were giving up a lot of straight line drives and scoring opportunities at the rim. And that's how Central Florida beat us. We changed to the zone primarily because guys are not so geared to guarding their man and will pay a little bit more attention to the ball. And we got better help. Hopefully, before this season is over, we'll be able to do both. But right now, the most important thing is us helping each other.
There was a lot of promise for Tanya, coming into the season. Is it injuries, or is it just that he just hasn't done what?
I'd say right up till the very first game, in the scrimmages in practice, in the preseason scrimmage against South Florida, in our exhibition game, all indications were that his progress was moving forward steadily. Mm-hmm. But what happens once games begin, the opponent is different every night, and he's being guarded differently, he misses a couple of shots, and so he still has a lot of work to do.
What have been your thoughts on Donovan's start this season? Just how he's been able to adapt and come in and help you guys?
He's I think made a great transition because he's very familiar with all the guys who he got to know when he was here the first time around. He's very familiar with the campus and the community, so he feels very much at home here. From an offensive and defensive standpoint, he's learning a whole different way of playing, so that part is very challenging for him. Whereas DePaul was pressing full court, and he was on the ball and running up and down the floor, and right now we don't have the personnel to do that. So he's had to learn to play a little bit more conservatively. He's a very good shot blocker. He's got a very good right-handed and left-handed jump hook. What we're trying to do is ask him and his teammates to play better together, to find ways to help each other.
Thank you.